it is my pleasure to invite on stage Ms. Preeta Misra, Senior Director, Credibility and Business Insights Group, ESG and SME, Dun & Bradstreet, India, to deliver the welcome address. I would request Ms. Preeta to please join us on the stage and share your valuable thoughts.
Thank you, Nana, and a very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is our second edition of the ESG Leadership Summit. But before I start, we've been doing this engagement on ESG workshops, conferences, etc. And we have seen over the last 1.5 years the conversations evolving. And I remember when earlier I would always do a dipstick and see, did people know about ESG? There would be very few hands up, mainly the large companies because they had started disclosing. But the rest didn't see that many interest. So let me do the same thing here. So how many of you believe that ESG is here to stay? Can I see a raise of hands? Wow, this is like almost 100%. And it's a big change. I did that last year and I think it was 50%, so this is really good. And how many of you have started disclosing? It may not be, for how many of you is it mandatory to disclose from the top 1,000 companies? Okay. So how many of you are disclosing for whom it's not mandatory, but you started to disclose? That's a very small section of hands that I can see, and I think so people know about it, they believe ESG is here to stay, but maybe the path is still being defined, the goal is still being defined, so then the disclosures will start. So that's interesting to note. As Naina mentioned, that ESG is no longer a catchphrase, but a business imperative that organizations are fast embracing. In fact, that's why, the name is from a catchphrase to reality. While it may still be a buzzword, and it continues to be a buzzword, we get so many emails on, especially fintech, starting ESG data companies wanting to reach out to us. So it remains a buzzword, not only in India, across the world. We have also seen different stakeholders take major steps to make this a reality. Firstly, at a country level, governments across the globe are setting ambitious net zero targets as a part of their climate change agenda. According to recent stats, over 140 countries accounting for approximately 88% of global emissions have pledged to net zero commitments. In fact, more than 9,000 companies, over 1,000 cities, more than 1,000 educational institutions, and over 600 financial institutions have joined the race to zero. India has, of course, set the net zero target by 2070, but I also read that we are behind plan, and I don't mean India, but across the globe, whatever the path that they've defined towards their net zero, whether it is 2030, 50, I think tracking-wise, we are still behind what we are supposed to do. However, this unprecedented level of political momentum reflects growing recognition of the threat posed by climate change and the need for collective action at the highest level of governance towards a low-carbon future. It also underscores the urgent need for businesses to align their strategies with these targets. To make ESG truly work, collaboration and innovation across all stakeholders in the ecosystem involving government, businesses, and the society at large is needed. Businesses in particular have a critical role to play in driving the transition to a sustainable, low-carbon economy. We are already seeing companies investing in renewable energy, improving energy efficiency, investing in technological innovation, and adopting circular economy practice. These will help companies reduce their carbon footprint as well as unlock new opportunities for growth and innovation. At the same time, it is essential to ensure that the transition to a net zero economy is fair and inclusive, leaving no one behind. This means supporting workers and communities affected by the shift away from fossil fuels, investing in reskilling and retraining programs, and fostering social cohesion and resilience. The regulators have stepped in strongly, moving from voluntary to mandatory disclosures, so much so that regulations are now shaping the sustainability agenda and changing the way companies do business in different geographies. While the past few years saw a significant increase in ESG regulation globally, in most cases, implementation included a transition period for businesses to adapt to new obligations. This year, enforcement is expected to be the focus. In EU, for example, which has been at the forefront of ESG regulations so far, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, which entered into force last year, the compliance is expected to start this year. Of course, the political dynamics in Europe has been different, so there have been some delays, but this is the plan forward, right? With different global standards, keeping one up to date with the regulatory updates globally is becoming challenging for businesses. In India, we have seen the BRSR. Disclosures by the top 1,000 companies started since last year. Now BRSR 2.0 covers disclosures by the supply chain for the top 250 companies. And of course, it's not been easy for businesses to comply to these changes. If we look at the BRSR's principle-wise disclosures, gathering thousands of data points across different functions, whether it be finance, HR, CSR, etc., and across different systems such as ERP, CRM, then collating, processing, and then structuring it across the 9 principles is a tough exercise and requires specialized focus and alignment. And now we add the supply chain data to this. As per the study done by KPMG, only 13% of companies indicate having complete visibility into their end-to-end supply chain. Companies lack insight into their suppliers' ESG performance and goals. And guess what? According to the UN, 2023 was the hottest year on record. 2024 is likely to be no different. Severe and frequent disruptive weather events will increasingly test operational resilience, including supply chain resilience. This will force, hopefully, all stakeholders to prioritize climate adaptation in their ESG strategies beyond the immediate ROIs. Another challenge remains the lack of uniform and regulated ESG reporting standards globally. This presents challenges related to accuracy, timeliness, completeness, and consistency of data. This becomes an obstacle in proactively harnessing ESG insights to mitigate risk and reap competitive benefits. Addressing these challenges will require collaboration between companies, regulators, and other stakeholders to develop standardized metrics and reporting frameworks that capture the full spectrum of ESG performance. Capturing the right data and deriving right insights is the only way to connect with all these stakeholders and achieve the goal. I mean, all of us who interact with the board and with different investors know the kind of questions that all these people ask us, right? So thus data collection, structuring, monitoring, measuring, etc. remains key. While covering data, we of course cannot ignore AI. We have seen a lot of strides made into the AI. DNB has also adopted AI very, very aggressively. And we do see the integration of AI into the ESG risk management. At DNB, we started seeing customers asking us for ESG data a few years back, and we launched our ESG Intelligence Suite 1.5 years back in India. Over this period, we have built ESG data for more than 84 million entities across 180 plus countries, and we continue to build this further. We work both with the large companies as well with the MSMEs. We have developed a Sustainability Perception Index for MSMEs with SIDBI, which measures perception across 3 dimensions of sustainability: willingness, awareness, and implementation. This index aims to be a reliable indicator to the state of adoption of sustainability in MSMEs. And interestingly, we have seen a rise in willingness and awareness over the last 1 year since we started this index. So with that, I really look forward to the discussions today. We have a great set of panelists with us, all from diverse industries, and I'm sure the discussions will be very, very interesting. I would also like to congratulate all the award winners and companies that have been featured in the ESG Champions of India report. Thank you.